Tom Reynolds sat on the leather couch in his living room, nursing a beer while their closest friends mingled around the fireplace. The autumn evening had brought everyone together. Mike and Rachel from down the street, the Johnsons, and Jake Harrison, the divorced neighbor who'd moved in 6 months ago. His wife Lisa was in rare form tonight, her laughter ringing out as she refilled wine glasses. She wore that black dress that hugged her curves perfectly, the one she knew drove him crazy. But lately, there'd been distance between them, little jabs disguised as jokes, moments where her eyes seemed to look through him rather than at him. "So, Tom," Mike called out, grinning, "Lisa tells us you've taken up woodworking. Built anything that doesn't fall apart yet?" The room chuckled and Tom smiled tightly. "Still learning. Rome wasn't built in a day." "Neither was that bookshelf," Lisa interjected, her voice syrupy sweet. "It's been 3 months and I've got wood pieces all over the garage." She took a long sip of wine, her eyes glittering with something Tom couldn't quite read. "Honestly, sometimes I think I should just trade him away. He's too much trouble." The room erupted in laughter. Tom's chest tightened, but he forced himself to shrug, playing along like always. Lisa had been making these comments more frequently, each one cutting a little deeper while wrapped in humor. But before anyone could move on, Jake Harrison leaned forward from his armchair, his blue eyes locked on Tom with an intensity that seemed to shift the air in the room. A slow, deliberate smirk crossed his handsome face. "Well," Jake's voice was smooth, confident, "I'll take him." The laughter died instantly. Lisa's smile froze mid-expression, her wine glass suspended halfway to her lips. The color drained from her face as the implication hung in the air like smoke. Mike and Rachel exchanged wide-eyed glances. The Johnsons suddenly found their phones fascinating. Tom felt his heart hammer against his ribs. Jake's gaze hadn't wavered, and there was something in those eyes, something knowing, hungry, real. "Jake, Lisa stammered. "That was just a joke. I didn't mean—" "Didn't you?" Jake interrupted softly, still looking at Tom. "Funny thing about jokes, Lisa. Sometimes they reveal what we really want." The room had become unbearably quiet. Tom excused himself to the kitchen, his mind reeling. The fluorescent light hummed overhead as he gripped the counter, trying to process what had just happened. Behind him, he heard footsteps. "That was intense." Jake's voice was low, closer than Tom expected. Tom turned to find the neighbor leaning against the doorframe, all casual confidence and knowing smirks. Jake was everything Tom wasn't. Effortlessly charismatic, successful in his tech career, with the kind of physique that came from actual dedication to the gym rather than good intentions. "I'm married," Tom said weakly, "to a woman who just offered to trade you away." Jake's hand came to rest on the counter beside Tom's, their fingers inches apart. "Tell me something. When was the last time Lisa looked at you the way she's looking at us right now?" Tom glanced toward the doorway. Lisa stood there, her face pale, eyes darting between them with something that looked like fear, mixed with realization. "I think we need to talk," she said, her voice trembling. "All of us." The party dissolved quickly after that, friends making awkward excuses and hurried exits. Within 20 minutes, only Tom, Lisa, and Jake remained, the air thick with tension and unspoken truths. Lisa paced by the fireplace, her earlier confidence completely shattered. "This is insane. Tom, tell him this is insane." But Tom found he couldn't speak, because for the first time in years, he felt something other than resignation. He felt alive, terrified, and curious about what came next. Jake settled back into the armchair, completely at ease. "I think your wife owes you an apology, Tom, and then we should discuss what happens next." Lisa's hand shook as she set down her wine glass. "I was joking. It was supposed to be funny." "Was it?" Tom's voice surprised even himself. Steady, harder than usual. "Because you've been making jokes like that for months. about how I'm not enough, about how you settled. Her eyes widened. Tom, I never... You did. The words tumbled out, years of swallowed hurt finally surfacing. At Rachel's birthday, you told everyone I was adequate in bed. At the company picnic, you said marrying me was my safe choice. Every time, wrapped in humor, so I couldn't call you out without looking sensitive. Tears streamed down Lisa's face. I didn't realize. I thought we were just joking around like couples do. Jake watched them with an unreadable expression. Lisa, can I ask you something? When you make those jokes, what are you really saying? She sank onto the couch, her designer dress suddenly looking rumpled. I don't know. Maybe that I'm scared. Tom's a good man. Stable, reliable, safe. But sometimes I wonder if I married him because I was supposed to, not because I really wanted to. The confession hung in the air like shattered glass. Tom felt something crack open in his chest. Not just pain, but clarity. And what about you, Jake? Why did you say what you said? Jake leaned forward, elbows on his knees. I meant it. His eyes met Tom's with unwavering honesty. I've been divorced 2 years, spent a long time figuring out who I really am, what I really want, and I've been attracted to you since the day I moved in. He paused. I've also watched you slowly disappear in this marriage. Lisa made a small sound of protest, but Jake continued. I'm not trying to break up your marriage, Tom, but I am saying that you deserve more than being someone's punchline. And if Lisa can't see what she has, maybe someone else should. Tom's pulse raced. This was impossible, insane. Everything he'd been taught was wrong. And yet, what are you suggesting? Lisa's voice was barely a whisper, something new flickering in her eyes. Was it jealousy? Fear of losing what she had taken for granted? Jake smiled. I'm suggesting we stop pretending.
Stop pretending about what? Tom asked, though part of him already knew. Jake's gaze held his. About what you want, what you've wanted but been too afraid to admit. He turned to Lisa. And what you've been running from. Lisa stood abruptly. This is crazy. Tom, we have a life together. 7 years of marriage. The house, our friends, everything we've built. Everything you've been slowly dismantling with your jokes, Jake said quietly. Tell me, Lisa, when was the last time you initiated intimacy with your husband? When did you last look at him with desire instead of disappointment? Her silence was answer enough. Tom's mind raced through memories. Lisa turning away in bed, claiming exhaustion, the way she'd wince when he tried to hold her hand in public, how sex had become perfunctory, scheduled, mechanical, her staring at the ceiling while he moved above her, both of them just going through the motions. I do love him, Lisa whispered, but even she seemed unconvinced. Maybe, Jake acknowledged, but you're not in love with him, and you haven't been for a while. He moved to stand beside Tom, close enough that Tom could feel the heat radiating from his body. The question is, are you going to keep holding on to something neither of you really wants anymore? Or are you going to be honest about what's really happening here? Tom's voice came out hoarse. And what is really happening? Jake's hand brushed against his, deliberate this time. The touch sent electricity up Tom's arm. You're attracted to me. I can see it in the way your pupils dilate when I'm near, how your breathing changes. You've been denying a part of yourself because you thought you had to, because you made vows. He's my husband, Lisa said, but there was desperation in her voice now, not conviction. Then act like it, Jake challenged her. When's the last time you made him feel wanted, desired, seen? He turned back to Tom, his voice softening. I see you, Tom. The real you. The one you've been hiding. Tom felt tears burning his eyes. Because it was true. All of it. And Lisa knew it too. He could see it in her face. The guilt, the recognition, the dawning realization that her careless words had torn away the veil they'd both been hiding behind. I think, Tom's voice cracked, then strengthened. I think we've been lying to each other for a long time. Lisa collapsed back onto the couch, her face in her hands. I wanted to be a good wife. I tried. You tried to want me, Tom finished, gently. I know. And I tried to be enough for you, but we've both been pretending. He took a shaky breath. And I've been pretending about more than just our marriage. The confession felt like jumping off a cliff. Jake moved closer, his presence solid and grounding. You don't have to pretend anymore. This is happening, Lisa said, looking up with red-rimmed eyes. Not a question, a realization. You want him. Tom nodded slowly, the truth finally spoken aloud. I think I've wanted this for a long time, maybe always. I just didn't let myself acknowledge it. Silence stretched between them, but it felt different now. Not tense, but clearing, like the air after a storm. Lisa stood up, wiping her eyes. I should hate you both right now. I should be screaming, throwing things. She laughed bitterly. But mostly, I just feel relieved. Like I can finally stop pretending too. She looked at Tom with something like tenderness. You deserve to be happy. Really happy. And I deserve someone who actually wants me, not just tolerates me. Jake spoke carefully. What happens now? Tom and Lisa looked at each other. Really looked. Maybe for the first time in years. 7 years of marriage, of trying to fit into shapes that never quite matched. We figure it out, Tom said, finally. Honestly, no more jokes, no more pretending. Lisa nodded. I'll stay at my sister's house tonight. Give us all space to think. She grabbed your purse, then paused at the door. Tom, I'm sorry. For all of it. You deserved better from me. When the door closed behind her, Tom felt Jake's hand slide into his. Warm, sure, real. Are you okay? Jake asked softly. Tom turned to face him, his heart pounding with fear and hope and possibility. Ask me tomorrow. He managed a small smile. Right now, I think I just want to stop running. Jake pulled him closer. Then don't. And for the first time in years, Tom didn't.